Okay, in this video, I have no notes, but I talked about this topic a lot of times, so I think I kind of know what I'm talking about from start to finish here. But just in case you hear me mess up, stutter, start thinking, is I don't have no notes. Just to be safe instead of being sorry, I'm giving you the heads up now. By the way, if you don't know who I am, my name is Gerard Henry. I am the founder of Artist Rise, and things been pretty good leading up to this year of 2024, and I want to thank you for that. But if you're new here, basically I help visual artists sell artwork online. Luckily in 2023 we did have the fastest growing program, which is something I'm super happy about. But on top of that, we do achieve the most results in this entire space, which is something I'm also very happy about. But in this video, I'm gonna be talking about how to identify your ideal buyers. I know so many artists question like, who's my buyers? Or they think they know who their buyers are, and you got it completely wrong. So we're gonna break that down in this video. I'm gonna talk about it from start to finish. Before I jump into that, I want to say a huge thanks. The video, not the last video, but the video uploaded before the last video, Catherine put like a screenshot of that thumbnail and that title for that video here. This video end up getting like, it's probably at the time you seeing this, that video may would have like 2,800 if not like 3,000 views, which is insane. I get a lot of followers on Instagram, which I don't know why I barely post. My post on Instagram is not the best in my opinion. I think the real content is here on this YouTube channel. But the average videos get about like 700, 800 views. So for that video to get 3 times as many views, it means the world to me. So that you actually love the information I'm putting out. You're getting value. And like, that's my whole purpose here, in hopes that we end up working together someday. But up until that day come, my purpose is to give as much value as possible right here. So I just want to say huge thanks to everybody that watched that video, comment, like. Hopefully we could do the same with this video. But with that being said, we're going to jump straight into it. So first, in order for me to talk about who your ideal buyers are going to be for your artwork, I have to talk about who they're not going to be. Excuse me. I'm laughing because I literally felt the burp coming. I cannot figure. I do not burp often. I'm pretty sure I burp like a human being, but for some reason, ever since I started doing these videos, I burp every single time. But anyway, let's get into it. So, in order for us to identify exactly who your ideal buyers are going to be for your artwork, we need to first identify who they not. And I'm explaining the why behind a lot of this stuff, because a lot of stuff you're going to hear me say will be contradicting from what everybody else say online. So first, I want you to understand that your ideal buyers, and this is the killer, your ideal buyers are not those who buy art. Every single artist I talk to, and I talk to a lot of artists, they all say, oh, Gerard, I think my ideal buyers are just art lovers, those who want to buy art, those who have money, right? The reason your ideal buyers are not those who buy art is because just because someone purchased art don't necessarily mean they'll be willing to purchase your art. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're not an artist. Let's say you're a fashion designer and you design purses, so like bags, right? And then you say, well, my ideal buyer is women that love to buy purses and bags. There are hundreds of thousands of companies that create purses and bags. But the question is, why would they buy yours? Just because they buy purses and bags don't necessarily mean they'll buy yours. It's the same with shoes. I think I purchased shoes, right? And I like shoes. But I've been wearing the same 2 pair of shoes for like the past 3 or 4 years. And I consider myself like a person that loves shoes. But just because I love shoes don't mean I will go and purchase your pair of shoes that you created. So I want you to understand, just because somebody loves art, it does not mean that they'll be willing to purchase your artwork. I see people say my ideal buyers are those who have money, typically those who work in high-end jobs. Just because, once again, somebody have money don't necessarily mean they'll be willing to purchase your shoes or your purse or your artwork, right? And if you think your artwork, I told you guys, like, bear with me here, bear with me. And then your art buyers are definitely not artists. Unfortunately, the most unfortunate part is because I'm all over the place, just bear with me. But the most unfortunate part is that I know your Instagram, if you have a decent following, is probably filled with other visual artists. And here's where it could become tricky. You see, visual artists are the biggest supporters of visual artists. So you may think you're doing great because you're having videos go viral, you're getting a lot of exposure, a lot of people commenting, a lot of people liking, engaging with you, sending you messages. But if they're visual artists, they're not going to purchase. Now, there's going to be somebody in the comments that say, visual artists do buy work. I brought artwork before. Yes, there's always the few. I don't know if you could hear that alarm going off, but I'm gonna talk over it. This is what you get when you get raw videos from Gerard Henry. So just bear with it, or like just turn the video off. That's just it. So with that being said, as far as you thinking visual artists buy art, visual artists do not buy art. Yes, you have the 5% who actually purchase art, but 95% of them are going to be wasting your time. Not what's the word I'm looking for? Not intentionally. They're wasting your time because they genuinely love your work and they genuinely think it's beautiful, but they're not going to purchase. That's just what it is. Now, with that being said, and by the way, the last one is interior designers. Goes back to the same initial subject, which is just because somebody do something for a career or like something doesn't necessarily mean they're going to buy your specific artwork. So how do I identify those who are going to buy our specific art, like my art? Here's the thing. You need to treat this like business. In any business, the first thing business do is they form a hypothesis. Basically, we have to make a very, very, very educated guess on who's the ideal buyers are going to be. That is how it works. And the way you make this educated guess is based on internal research, which I'm going to explain this process to you. So, in order for you to identify who your ideal buyer is going to be for your artwork, you must first identify why you create the artwork you create. I'm going to say it again. To identify who's going to buy it, you first must identify why you create it. If you want somebody to buy it, you have to first identify exactly what they're buying. Now, here's what's going to happen if you're watching this. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to think this really amazing little Y that sounds smooth, and every visual artist do it. It sounds something like this. I create artwork because like life is crazy, and then once I get in front of canvas, it just makes me feel so free. Something like that. Or you're gonna say something like that comes to mind is, I create artwork because like I want to put beauty into the world. That's what every visual artist say. What I want you to genuinely ask yourself is why 15 times. So 15, right? So it's gonna look like this. I create artwork is because it's what I'm passionate about. But why are you passionate about it? That's why number one. Well, I'm passionate about it because I always created artwork as a kid. Why did you create art as a kid? I created art as a kid because I seen my dad create artwork and I was inspired from him creating artwork. Why were you inspired from your dad? Then you're gonna start getting to like the really detailed parts of that why. This is gonna sound like this. Well, I was inspired from my dad because I loved the way my dad always treated me and my mom. So he became my role model, right? Or you may say my dad was my role model. Why was he my role model? Because the way he treated me and my mom just made me feel so alive. Why did you feel alive? But after you get to like 15, then that why that started off as like I'm passionate about creating art, that why quickly turned into, well, the reason I create art is because it allows me to reconnect with those who meant the most to me, which in that case is my dad. And that person meant the most because it showed how strong you can affect somebody's life by just giving them love. So I wanted to spread that love through my artwork. Now, that was just me doing like a little quick summary, and hopefully like at this point you're probably like, holy shit, right? That's the goal. The goal is for you to be like, holy shit, Gerard is cool. Let me go schedule a call so I can work with him, and then we start working together. But right now we just on the holy shit. So let's continue that. So after you really deeply identify your why, then you could ask, the question of who. Now, here's how you want to ask the question of who. This is the same thing I teach my artists. If my art was hanging on a wall in someone's home, based on my reasoning behind why I create art, who would that person be? I'm going to say it again. If my artwork was hanging on the wall in somebody's home, based on the reasoning behind why I create the artwork, who would that person be? It's not based off the painting itself. It's the reason why you created the artwork. So I'm going to just use the same example, and we're going to elaborate on this, right? So in this case, let's say I identified my own reasoning behind why I created the artwork, and then I'm trying to figure out who will best resonate with that why based on what I just mentioned. So most likely, the person based off what I mentioned that would resonate with my why, in my opinion, would be maybe a mom or a dad who's very, very, very big on family and very big on love and unity. And their goal is spread love and unity through their family, through their kids, through each other, and they feel like that love is what's bringing them in closer. Probably the thing they value the most in this world is family, right? So now I'm able to really, really start to identify who this person may be. So let me identify this person in real, actual characteristics. They're probably in their anywhere from later 20s to mid 30s to 40s, right? They're probably parents. They probably have kids, right? They're probably married or at least engaged, right? So now I'm getting really specific on who this person would be. And then what happens is, after you identify who that specific person would be, then you know exactly who your buyer would be, right? Notice, now here's the key thing. Notice I never even thought about if they're willing to buy artwork. I never asked myself how much money do they have, right? I never asked myself if they're a collector or not. Every collector of art started off with one initial piece. So every collector wasn't a collector at some point. And there are some people that are still not collectors, but so connected with some of my artists' work that they collect that particular artist's work. And it's all because of this exercise right here, right? So I'm already kind of in the flow, so we're going to just keep this party going. Now, here's the thing. Once you identify, which I just explained exactly how to identify that person. So once you identify that person, you need to really dial it in. Because keep in mind, this is still based on assumption. It's not really locked in stone. But if you do this really, really, really well, and you really take the time to really go through this exercise, you can be pretty spot on here. The majority of my artists are spot on the first time. So now that we understand that and we know we have a good idea of who our own buyer will be, the next thing is to go to market. Go to market is you're online. You start communicating as if you're talking to that ideal buyer. And then people are going to start to stand up and speak back to you. That's them commenting saying, oh my God, this speaks so much to me. Oh my God, your artwork resonates so much with me. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. Oh my God, this message is so phenomenal. And then as those people start to speak back to you, now you know, yep, I was correct. This is my people. But once you start to share that why online and they don't speak back to you, then you may have to go and tweak a little bit. Maybe you don't have the person spot on like you may thought you have. And it's this cycle is how you identify who that potential buyer would be. No one is sharing this stuff online. And by the way, I'm only sharing what I prove to work. So hopefully you apply this at the very least. Or you can skip the applying stage and just I don't know, work with me and my team and we can help you dial the stuff in. I probably just start doing that. I don't have enough people okay, we actually growing faster than ever, but we always could be growing faster. So I'm not working with enough artists, right? And if we're not working together, we technically kind of enemies, but I'm trying to turn enemies to allies. So yeah. Okay, I'm not trying to turn this into a sales pitch, so let's get back on topic. So anyway, at that point, when you start to really resonate with that ideal person, that why, through your why, what's going to happen is you guys going to start to build that connection. And usually when it comes to selling your artwork, that sell becomes 10 times easier because you don't have to sell them because they already the ideal person for you. So the artwork should automatically connect. And I'm gonna like rewind this whole video so you can understand why it all connect and make sense, right? So here's the thing. To sum this all up, your ideal person is gonna buy your artwork is based on your why, right? But if they're based on your why, then they're most likely a representation of who? Of you. Why? Because people like people who are alike them. So if they resonate with your story, that's because they are alike you. And if they're like you, people like to do business with people they like. Once again, which is people that are like them. You said it's come around full circle. So what am I saying? Basically, what I'm saying here is those who will be willing to purchase your work is most likely those who share the same why as you. But their why just may be different in life. Their why not be why they create artwork, but it might be why they provide for their family or love their family so much. They probably even share similar experiences to you. And by the way, this is not always the case, but a lot of times this is the case. Hopefully you found this video valuable. If you haven't seen the video that got 3,000 views, which was like a phenomenal video, go watch that video. I'm gonna probably put it here. I'll probably put an interview here. I don't know. You gonna whatever one. You're gonna get some value right here if you click that video either way. But with that being said, peace.